Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. So of course the console beta ended last week, and on the last day, in fact in the last few hours of the beta being live, I decided to go ahead and sort of capture all of the different weapons in case I wanted to talk about them and some of the different perks. And one thing that I had noticed before were that some of the weapons were missing their shader slot. Now mainly it was really the Nightshade that I was looking at. I thought maybe certain weapons, maybe the ones that are not from foundries, will not have shader slots. And then it wasn't until I was sitting down to record all of the weapons where I noticed exactly which ones don't have the slot. One of them is the Phosphorus MG4 submachine gun from Omolon, the Acantha D grenade launcher from Haka, and then of course the Nightshade, which is not from a foundry. And it really wasn't until this recording session that I started to wonder why these weapons are missing their shader slot. And naturally I spent a very long time just staring at the screen trying to figure it out. And ultimately the conclusion I came to is that we're missing these because they're most likely exotic shaders and Bungie does not want to show them to us yet. So why do I think this? Let's jump in. So like I mentioned earlier, in all of the excitement of the beta, I didn't really pay too close of attention to figure out why exactly the shader slot is missing on the Nightshade, but it was just something that I kind of noticed offhand. Thought it was very interesting. But then especially after studying the Acantha D, I realized, hey, this actually does have a shader. If we look at this grenade launcher and other press material, it has that very standard Haka orange and gray look. In fact, if you look at the thumbnail for this weapon, you see the colors are way off. Now I know colors can be off between the weapons and what they look like in the thumbnails, but not to this degree. Now studying the colors of this weapon for a while makes you realize some things that I should have probably picked up on right away. Starting with the fact that this isn't simply shaded a different color, the barrel of this gun is chrome, and the stock is this sparkly light blue. So this is more than just a simple paint job, this is almost changing the materials that the weapon is made out of, or at least the sort of paint applied is a very high-end paint job. And if you look at the Phosphorus MG4, you'll also notice that the paint job is way over the top. It's got a very sort of polished sparkling blue look to it. It's got that chrome trim again. It also has some light blue trim. We know it's orange because of the fact that it's solar. I expect those components will change depending on the element, but the rest of the weapon is this very cool steel blue. And even if you look at the Nightshade, it is a very interesting color. It's not just black, it's a pearlescent black that's got sort of green and purple going on. But I suppose this weapon is called Nightshade and it's already dark, so this was maybe a little deceiving. But imagine this shader on the Haka grenade launcher, and then you start to see the potential of what this particular shader might bring to other weapons that are not already black. Now my first thought was maybe they just deactivated shaders because these are just normal shaders, but they're not ready to show us how shaders work. But we do see a shader on the ships. If you managed to inspect your ships during the beta, you saw that it had a shader applied. In fact, it was a legendary shader, and some of them were very over the top. The one that I had some carbon fiber parts to it. So again, very fancy. So maybe these are just regular legendary shaders and Bungie is not ready to reveal them to us yet. But why? Why go through the trouble of applying the shaders only to deactivate them later on? As we know, Bungie is very particular in the way they like to reveal their information, so I'm hoping that later on before launch, we're going to be learning about exotic shaders and maybe some other things in the inventory. So my guess is that they're just not ready to reveal the fact that exotic shaders are a thing in Destiny 2. And honestly, I don't think it would be too far of a stretch. There existed exotic emblems and exotic sparrows that we knew about, but never made it into Destiny 1. So maybe this is just the beginning of collectible items being available in exotic varieties. Anyways, let me know what you think of these weapons, and do you think they're hiding their exotic shader? Let's discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time.